Hi, I'm Bernie Sanders. I'm running for president.
First of all, you guys got your coffee. You got to have your coffee, man. All right. You got to have coffee or tea. Some of you guys are alcoholics, so I'm not encouraging it. But you do, we got to have something to toast with because today is kind of a big day.
Hi, I'm Bernie Sanders. I'm running for president. And I'm asking you today to be part of an unprecedented grassroots campaign of 1 million active volunteers in every state in our country.
All right, breaking news. Thought this was going to happen at 7.
Yeah.
A little earlier, Bernie Sanders jumping back into the presidential race again. He is running officially.
So, Senator Sanders, you're going to run for president?
I am going to run for president. That's correct. I am going to run for president. That's correct.
Bernie Sanders is running for president. You just heard the announcement. And there was hints that he was going to be running. It's, you know, and the hints are one thing, but to have the announcement done and to know that it's going down is a totally different thing. What we have here in front of us are the other candidates that are running along with Bernie Sanders for the 2020 Democratic nomination. Of course, we have Kamala Harris, Kirsten Gillibrand, Elizabeth Warren, Julian Castro, Representative Tulsi Gabbard, John Delaney, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, Senator Cory Booker, Andrew Yang, Senator Amy Klobuchar, and of course Senator Bernie Sanders. Now, what's significant, Bernie Sanders will make the sixth senator entering the race for 2020 nomination. And some are already saying that Bernie is stepping into this in a very, very likable, a very favorable position. And then there are others who are saying that Bernie Sanders waited too long, that he's too old, he's too white, too socialist to run for president in 2020. So we're going to unpack a little bit of all of that, all the naysay and all the positive say right here on Coffee with Tim Black. All right, give it up for that. So, you know, they're saying that Bernie Sanders is facing an uphill battle, but I believe that Bernie Sanders is in a prime position to take this field by storm. Unlike all the other candidates on that list there, Bernie Sanders already has the name recognition and the campaign recognition as far as what his platform will consist of. Is there any doubt in anyone's mind what Bernie's platform will have? Name at least 3 platform planks for Bernie Sanders. I can. Medicare for all, $15 minimum wage, and free college tuition, right? Now, name 3 Kamala Harris platform planks. How about Amy Klobuchar for $300? Name 3 Amy Klobuchar planks. Okay, a Julian Castro, a Kirsten Gillibrand, a Joe Biden. The only platform planks that I'm aware of that I can say with any certainty about the other candidates would be Tulsi Gabbard, bringing the troops home, non-interventionist wars, ending those, and Medicare for all. So we'll give that to Tulsi Gabbard. And Elizabeth Warren has a package that will address redlining and discrimination in housing. So that's another one, so give that one to Elizabeth Warren. Bernie Sanders has name recognition, something he didn't have in 2016. Now, which brings me to a whole other point about Bernie Sanders and the 2020 race, folks. And that's this. Bernie Sanders, this time out, already has a name recognition, something he didn't have in 2016. He had to go around the country and make the case that, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is B, E to the R, N-I-E. That was whack. I shouldn't have done that. But he had to go in and introduce himself to everybody. You know, like people had no idea who he was. Yes, he had been in the Senate for 25, 30 years, but how many people knew him? He was not a well-known name to those who were not focused on politics. So that in itself gives him a dramatic foot in the door when it comes to 2020. We all know name recognition is what Hillary Clinton had, which made her the front runner. So I don't know how they're able to somehow come to the conclusion that Bernie Sanders will not be helped by that. What else? A couple other things about Bernie Sanders' campaign that look like he could make a lot of noise. I'm not going to say he could just win it and walk away, because there are issues that we're going to get to later that he must address. But Bernie Sanders, not only is he known for being someone who has these campaign platform planks that people know of, that he doesn't have to explain to the whole world, but he also has high favorability ratings. Now, there are a couple polls that they've been citing. One had put Joe Biden at a very high percentage at almost 30%. But according to The Intercept, depending on which poll you look at, there's another poll out where Bernie Sanders is leading with a 21-point lead over Biden. A straw man poll from Democracy for America. So as it goes with all polls, it's always dependent on which poll you're looking at. We got telephone polls, and we got election polls, and we got exit polls. We got all types of polls. North polls, South polls, pole dancing polls. We got a lot of different polls. But at the end of the day, what matters, are you exciting the voters? Right? God, that's loud. Okay. So I'm excited about what Bernie Sanders means to this race, because, as I tweeted out earlier, guys, when Bernie Sanders walks into the room, something strange happens to the room. It moves to the left. Whole field will have to regroup and move to the left. No other candidate that could enter this race could cause that shift in the solar system, that shift in the gravitational pull, that shift in the consciousness of voters. Whether you like Bernie Sanders or not, that is true. That's what happens. Bernie Sanders started the conversation about $15 for all on a national scale. Bernie Sanders started the conversation for Medicare for all on a national scale. Those are Bernie Sanders talking points. Bernie Sanders started the conversation on the national stage about free local college tuition. That was not adopted by Hillary until after Bernie started running, and then Hillary didn't go all the way there. She wanted the $15 an hour to become a $12 an hour. Medicare for all, she still said, could never be done. Hence, that's why Bernie went over 20 states in caucuses with what, like I said, with the uphill battle of not only very little media coverage, which he was blacked out on many of the networks, but also he had that uphill battle of fighting the infrastructure, which is the DNC. So we can't leave that out, right? Okay, so now there are naysayers about Bernie Sanders' campaign, but there are also some positive people out there, or people looking at it with a positive tone. I read an article from The Intercept. I got an article from NPR. I will share with you just a piece of it. The title is this: Bernie Sanders enters 2020 presidential campaign no longer an underdog. I don't think you get more positive than that. You know what I mean. Come on, it's early. Come on. All right, so now some people are saying, and I think we should be able to step aside and examine this part, right? Some are saying that Bernie Sanders will have a much tougher go of it. I watched the Morning Joe segment where Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski made that argument that it'll be much more difficult. They said because now Bernie Sanders has to run against a field of candidates as opposed to running against just one very most popular woman in politics in the last half century, or at least the last 40 years, okay? Hillary Clinton. Somehow they think it'd be harder to run against virtual unknowns. Oops. Virtual unknown. That was on time, actually. Give it up for that. I like that. Somehow they think it'd be better to run against it'd be harder to run against virtual unknowns than run against the most popular, most well-known, most experienced candidate, female candidate, maybe candidate in the history of candidates for the Democratic Party. And I look at it a little bit different. As opposed to Bernie having to get 51% of the vote, now he only needs to get like 20. Which would you rather have to do? Get 50% or something or 20%? I'm going to have to go with the 20, Bob. Come on now. Come on, Mika. Come on. Keep it real, Barnacle. Ed Barnacle, whatever his name is. So, now, those are all good things about Bernie Sanders' campaign. He has the ability to just basically dust off his campaign and just start it, crank the engine up, put a little gas in the tank, and get it going. He knows how to handle it on the curves. He knows how to swerve it, all that good stuff. Right? Not to mention this little thing called infrastructure in 50 states. Come on, guys. Now we see the genius behind our revolution and what it can mean for Bernie Sanders. We got our revolution, 300 offices run by none other than my friend and yours, Nina Turner? What other candidate has that type of infrastructure set up? I don't think any of these candidates do. Okay? So, a lot of positives. Let's try to name them all real quick. Let me see if I can remember them all. We know his campaign. We know what he stands for. He doesn't have to reintroduce himself. My name is what? My name is, he don't have to do that now. People pretty much know who he is. Okay? For better or for worse, they know who he is. So they know his campaign policies, his platforms, those pillars I talked about. They know about the Medicare for All, they know about the free college tuition, and they know about the $15 minimum wage, okay? And he's added some other stuff like fighting Bezos and Amazon and the Medicare, the prescription drug bills that he ran with Ro Khanna have also been very popular, okay? So we got that there. Also, he has that infrastructure in place across the country with our revolution. And the name recognition, and the polling, and being battle-tested, having gone up against, like I stated, the most powerful woman in the Democratic Party in the last 30, 40, 50 years maybe, depending on how you look at it, and still winning over 20 states. So that's pretty strong. But now, guys, as with all things, there are obstacles and there are challenges that need to be met, right? And challenge number one is Bernie got to get more black. That's right, Bernie got to black it up a little bit. And I don't mean window dressing black. I don't mean just pander. We already got that with Kamala Harris. Okay? We don't need that. We don't need and we don't need the self-degrading or what's the word for it? The meek, humble, whatever this thing is that Cory Booker's doing. We don't need that either. What Bernie Sanders needs to do is to aggressively embrace that black people matter, and what matters to black voters should matter to Bernie Sanders. And he needs to display that. He don't just need to think it, he needs to express it. Voters need to know, black voters need to know that Bernie Sanders understands black voters. And I know some people are going to say, well, Bernie Sanders did great with black voters. He did great with black young voters. But there are older voters, and there are voters my age and older who he didn't do so well with. Not saying he didn't do well. He didn't do as well as he needs to do. Now, we have to be able to accept that criticism and say, what can we do about it? Well, what we can do about it is we can expand our staff to include more black folks who will give you more good advice, hopefully. Hopefully it'll be good advice, right? Good advice about what the platform and what the campaign needs in order to attract those types of voters by knowing what's important. Not just showing up and taking people out for a chicken dinner. Not just showing up at the local black church going, I am no ways tired. And also, in order for him to be able to embrace and be a part of the solution for black communities, I say Bernie Sanders overlooked people like Simone Sanders. You know, those people that were Bernie Sanders supporters and then quickly jumped into the Hillary camp and quickly jumped into mainstream corporate media, who quickly pivoted to what was more important for them, which was a job, credentials. Okay, so I think that's important for Bernie Sanders to come out with fresh blood and do it quickly. Get ahead of it. So what else does Bernie Sanders need to do? He needs to put away this idea that he ran a campaign that did not embrace, respect, and appreciate women. Okay? That's right, because whether you like it or not, that was a knock that was on the campaign of 2016 for Bernie Sanders. He cannot have that happen again. Now, he's taking steps. He's taking steps where he's going to outsource HR. It'll no longer be like, under his control. A separate organization will handle all HR complaints. That way, he can focus on what he needs to focus on, and he can have the structure in place to deal with any issues that do arise. Let's hope nothing arises, but let's be prepared for it. Now, look, I'm not saying it's easy to run a campaign. I've never ran a campaign. But I do run a small business right now, and I know, hey, if I had employees, I'd have to have some things in place. And when you run a campaign, it's like running a company. In fact, it is a company. It's its own entity. And you got to have things in place in order to make sure that entity runs smoothly. All right. So Bernie got to black it up. Bring black people in, embrace them, and also, the women vote. He needs to make women feel more comfortable. You can't afford a stumble, a misstep, or unforced error with dealing with harassment issues or favoritism, any of that stuff. Those are just a couple things. I'm sure there'll be other things that people bring up that need to be implemented in the new campaign. Oh, and number 3. The other obstacle that I see for Bernie is, well, Tulsi Gabbard. And I don't think it's an obstacle. I just think that Tulsi's campaign is very interesting. And I support Tulsi's campaign. And I'm not prepared at this point to just say, oh, Bernie's back in town. So what he's going to have to do is further build his campaign out. Because, yes, there are other candidates that are in the race. I'm not saying it's insurmountable for Bernie Sanders to get people back into his camp. What I'm saying is it's not 2016, it's 2020. You can't run the same race you ran in 2020. I think he's aware of that. So let's look at the field and say, okay, what do we need to do to differentiate ourselves? That's the same thing Tulsi Gabbard has to do. What does she have to do to differentiate herself from Bernie Sanders? So I think on the same token. Also, he has to take it, bearing in mind that Elizabeth Warren is running, and she will probably have some similar policies that he has. So these are things that Bernie must prepare for. At the end of the day, I want the best candidate. At the end of the day, I want the best for the country. And whoever that person is, that's who I'll support. And I think that's who you'll vote for. So let's hopefully we can put our heads together and get behind the right candidate. Last but not least, Bernie must come out swinging. Well, actually, I got 2 more, okay? Bernie must come out swinging against the establishment, something he did not want to do much in 2016. I hope he's learned his lesson, that you have to take the gloves off, that you have to be willing to knock the DNC down, not just down, but out. When Mike Tyson went in the ring, he wasn't just trying to knock you out. He was trying to put his fist through the back of your head. That's what you have to do to win this race. You have to call them out on election fraud. You have to call them out on the rigging. You can't, look, I was disappointed that there were times that Donald Trump was calling out more of the malfeasance in the Democratic Party than Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, they've let you know over and over that you are not a Democrat. Let them know you know that. Let them know you know. All right? Yeah. There's one more, I think. Something else hit me. There's a stream of consciousness here. Yeah, let them know you don't play games with them. Knock them the hell out. Stand up for yourself. Oh, and as someone pointed out, a friend of mine, they sent me an article. They sent me an article that said that Bernie Sanders, he started his campaign bashing Trump or something to that effect. Now, look, Bernie Sanders, he mentioned Trump in his announcement speech, but it was a 10-minute speech, and he spent maybe a minute on Trump, if that long. Most of his announcement speech was about what he plans to do for the American people. That's what I like. That's what he'll need to do. He can't be like the Democrats who will sit around and think that all they have to do is badmouth Trump or call out Trump and that'll just win it for them. That ain't going to work. Hillary tried it. It's a losing strategy. So Bernie Sanders cannot fall into the trap when he thinks that calling out Hillary Clinton or calling out Donald Trump will give him a different result than they gave Hillary Clinton. It will not. All right? It will not. It just won't. Bernie Sanders is a populist candidate, geared in Democratic Socialist platform. People know that. He will embrace it. He won't shy away from it. He will wear that. And I think he's going to be a contender. If not the favorite, right there in the top two. I think the whole crowd moves to the left, and I think that's because of Bernie Sanders. I think him just entering this race changes this campaign. It changes the election for 2020. It changes America. And damn it, I think it changes the world. Just the fact. Now, you can say what you want to say, but there's no other candidate that I feel could get in this race and change the environment. Just walk in the door and change the environment. Let's see if that change is a lasting change, and let's see if he can win with that change. Hit me up at tim@timblacktv.com. Let me know what you think about Bernie's chances, what this means, and what it means to you. Like, this all comes down to what we believe. What we feel. Is the electricity there for the Bernie Sanders campaign? Are you going to donate to his campaign? Are you backing Tulsi Gabbard? Are you backing one of the other candidates? Are you checking out Andrew Yang? Andrew Yang is a wild card candidate that I'm very interested in finding out more about. In fact, Andrew Yang will be on my show Thursday. Give it up for Andrew Yang. As I stated, I want the best candidate for the job. I want who's going to make the most impact in this country. Whoever that is who I'm going to go with. It's going to be who I support. Okay? We need some tangible policies that address black Americans. American descendants of slaves. I strongly support that, and I'm not pivoting from that at all. And one of my jobs... One of my jobs during 2020 as we lead up is to push candidates towards coming up with tangible solutions for American descendants of slaves. The time is now. The time, we must take advantage of it. There's a buzz. Let's work towards that. Also, guys, we have to expose corruption. Bernie Sanders talked a lot in his campaign announcement about Citizens United and the need to get money out of politics, and we need to work on that. I think that's very important. For any type of politics to work for any group, for anyone, I think we definitely have to get Citizens United overturned. So, very important. So we got Andrew Yang on Thursday. Oh, and tomorrow I'll be interviewing, and I don't know if we're going to do this live or not. I'll be interviewing author and actor, icon, Bill Duke. So, and we're going in a new direction, a direction of excitement, I think. So I hope that you'll join me by becoming a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. You do that on Patreon, you can do that on YouTube. Also, subscribe to me on Facebook, or subscribe to me on YouTube, rather. Follow me on Instagram at Tim Black at Night. And I am Real Tim Black on Facebook and Twitter. There you go. All right. I see y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Don't let nobody take your cornbread.